Okay, my dear students, very good morning to one and all. And in the last class, so welcome to VLSA class, VLSA design. So in the last class, we discussed about driving large scale capacitor loads. Okay, in the last class, we discussed about driving large capacitor loads. Okay, so in this case, we discuss about different delays for NMOS and CMOS cycles. When the number of stages n is even, okay, when the number of stages are even, we are having this formula. Okay, we are having n is equal to even number. So depending upon that, so we are having these are the time delay for the NMOS cycles and also the time delay for the CMOS cycles. Similarly, if the n is odd, then you have to consider depending upon the logic interval, that means depending upon the transition of the input signal. Okay, with the transition of the signal from 0 to 1, you can use this formula for NMOS and this formula for CMOS. Similarly, if this transition from 1 to 0, you can follow this transition, this time delay formula for NMOS, and also this is the time delay for the CMOS circuits. Okay, so now because of these, so just observe here, there is no symmetrical. Okay, that means the signal delays will be not delays are not symmetrical here. So because of this asymmetricity, and there will be this asymmetry in the inverters, the conventional inverters. So what happens? There is a large delay problem will be very high in this case. Okay, so that means the delay will be that means large delay will be exist in the circuit, particularly when you are going to drive the capacitive loads. Okay, when you want to drive the capacitive loads, so what happens is the delay will be very large in this case when there is asymmetry. So how to overcome this asymmetry in the circuit? Okay, to drive the capacitive loads. Okay, for this we have one approach in the NMOS technology. We have one approach in the NMOS technology, that is we can use the super buffers between the stages. Okay, we can use the super buffers between the stages, right? So therefore, now let us consider the super buffer. Okay, what is the structure of the super buffer using the VLSI circuit, particularly NMOS technology? Okay, now let us consider this is the. There are two types of super buffer. Basically, we case NMOS NMOS circuits. We are using two types of super buffers particularly. So one is the inverting super buffer. Second one is the non-inverting super buffer. There is inverting types NMOS in the super buffer and non-inverting type NMOS super buffers. Okay. So now let us consider inverting type NMOS super buffer. So this is the circuit diagram of inverting type NMOS super buffer, right? So what is the use of these super buffers? To eliminate asymmetry in the conventional inverters. Okay, so this because of this asymmetricity, it gives rise to significant delay problems in the inverter cycle. So whenever the inverter cycles are drive the capacitive loads, so it produces some delay problems. To eliminate these delay problems, we are going to use super buffers in the circuit between the stages. So now there are two types of super buffers. One is inverting type NMOS super buffers and non-inverting type NMOS super buffers. Now let us consider this is a structure of the schematic of inverting type NMOS super buffer. Okay, just observe the circuit here. You forgot about the super buffer here. First, it assume that this circuit is, for example, let us take this circuit is inverter, NMOS inverter. This is an NMOS inverter circuit. Okay, so without these connections, so this circuit is a NMOS inverter, right? So this is the enhancement mode transistor. This is the depletion mode transistor. Now, in the NMOS super buffers, we're having two extra transistors, the same type of transistor. Here the depletion mode transistor, here the enhancement mode transistor. N channel depletion and N channel enhancement. You can use the same type of inverter here. Okay. Similarly, we can use the same type of NMOS enhancement mode transistors. So, but instead of connecting the gate to the short circuit, gate to the source here, so we are directly connect this gate of this transistor T3 to the gate of the T1. That is the main thing you have to remember here. Okay, gate of the T3 is directly connected to the gate of the T1. Similarly, gate of this enhancement mode transistor is connected directly to the gate of the transistor, enhancement mode transistor in the inverter cycle, that is T2. Okay, this is the structure, and we are taking the output at this point. Since this is inverting type NMOS inverter, that means the output is exactly inverse of the input signal. If you go 0 here, you get 1. If you go, if you take apply 1 here, you get 0. That means there is a inversion. There is the operation will be inverted here, right? So therefore, can consider this is the inverting type of NMOS super buffer. So how the super buffers will be working in this case? Now just observe here. So in order to analyze these NMOS super buffers, okay. So assume that this is the transistor T1, it is the depletion mode transistor whose gate is short circuit to the source terminal, and this is the transistor T2, the enhancement mode transistor, and this T3 the depletion mode N channel transistor, and this is the enhancement mode N channel transistor. That is the transistor means MOSFETs. Okay, right? So now just observe here. So now let us consider what happened, how the circuit will operate from this case. Okay, so let us consider the input is depending upon the circuit. Now let us say depending upon the input transition. Okay, assume that a positive going transition at the input. Okay, that means let us take the positive going transition here. That means Vn is 1. When the Vn is equal to 1, so what happens? That this transistor T2 will be enhancement mode transistor. This will be turns on. Okay, when this is turns on, so what happens? The voltage at this node bit drops to 0. Okay, remember that point. Okay, so voltage will drop to 0 because this point, this terminal is connected. This output terminal of this drain of this transistor and source of this transistor joined together here. So the gate is short circuited to this terminal. So what happened? Whatever the voltage here, that will be transferred to the gate of the transistor here, and this transistor is on condition. At this voltage, this transistor is always in the on condition. Okay, the voltage at this point is 0 approximately. So that means the transistor will be on. Okay, when this transistor is on, so what happened now? This 0 volt is again applied to the gate of this transistor T3 because the T3 gate is connected to the T1's gate. Okay, the voltage at the T1's gate is equal to the voltage at this node. Because the transistor T2 is on condition, the voltage at this point is 0, approximately 0. So the same 0 volt is applied to the gate of the transistor here, that will be transferred to the T3 also. So that means the transistor T3 is in off condition. Okay, the transistor T3 is in off condition. Remember. Okay, T3 is in the off condition. So now, what about the transistor T4? Because the high voltage at this point that will transfer to this gate is connected to the gate of the transistor T2. So this transistor is also in the on condition. Okay, this transistor is in the on condition. So what happened now? When this transistor is on condition and this transistor is off condition, the output will be dropped to 0 very fastly. Okay, that output will be dropped to 0. So we are getting the exactly we did ground level. Okay, when the input is high, we are getting the output is 0, right? That is the case. Now let us consider the second condition. That is when the input is low. What happened in the cycle? When the input is low here, okay, remember this transistor is always in the on condition here, but also on condition. Okay, this voltage is on condition. Okay, because the gate is short circuit to the source terminal. Remember. Now when the input is 0, So what happens? This transistor T2 is off condition, and the same signal be transferred to the gate of the transistor T4. So the transistor T4 also off condition. Okay, it is also in the off condition. So when Vin is equal to 0, T2 is off. When the T2 is off condition, so this voltage will be drives to the value of VDD. Okay, the voltage at this point is now rises to the value of VDD. Remember that point. Okay, when this is off condition, this voltage is connected to the VDD level. So the same voltage is again applied to the gate of this transistor. So that means the same voltage, the VDD here, and the signal will be transferred to here. That means this voltage is given to here in this case. Okay, and this extra voltage coming from this gate terminal here, the voltage at the gate is rises to twice the value of this VDD. Okay, twice the value of VDD. So therefore, this transistor will be fully conducts. Okay, this transistor will be fully conducts. So what happened now? The output will be suddenly rises to the value of VDD without any delay. Okay, very small delay. This output will be suddenly drop, goes to VDD level. So that is the main difference in this case. So voltage at this point will be rises greater than the value of VDD level. Twice, basically we are having twice the value of VDD at this gate. Okay. So therefore, so what happens is the super buffer, this high voltage drives this transistor to very high condition. That means this output base suddenly drop to very without any delay. Okay, that will be suddenly rises to the value of VDD. So therefore, so like this, the transistor will be suddenly drop to 0 and also with a very small delay, and this suddenly rises to value of VDD with very small delay. So then we will get there is no asymmetric in this case. So this we are able to drive the loads here, capacitive loads. Okay, that is the operation of this inverting type of NMOS super buffer, right? So remember this point. Once again, I explain. When the input is 0, so when the input is high state, okay, when the input is high state, when the input is high state, please. When the input is high state, so what happened? This transistor T2 is on, T4 is on, right? T4 is T2 and T4 is on condition, and T1 is on condition, but because this is the depression mode transistor, it is always in on condition because the VGS is equal to 0. When this transistor is on, the voltage at this node, particularly this is the output node basically. So the voltage at this point is dropped to 0 because the transistor is short circuited here. So this voltage will be given to the gate of this transistor. At the same time, the gate of this transistor T2 is connected to gate of the transistor T1. So therefore, the voltage at the gate of the transistor T3 is 0. So this transistor is off condition. Okay. Okay, this transistor is off condition. So now, see, remember, we are not going to connect the voltage at this short circuit here. Okay, the gate is not short circuited here. That's why this transistor is not on condition at 0 gate voltage. Okay, so therefore, so what happened now in this case? So what about this transistor T4 is on condition? So the output will be, if for example the capacitor is connected here, the capacitor will suddenly drop to the charges through this transistor T4. Okay, suddenly drop to this transistor T4. Okay, so therefore you will get an exact logic 0 level. Okay, similarly, when you apply a logic low voltage at the input, when you apply a logic low voltage at the input, so what happens? This transistor is T2 is off condition and T4 is also off condition because it is connected to the gate of this transistor. That means initially you can consider input voltage. Okay. So when this transistor is off, the voltage at this node is rises to the value of VDD. Okay. So this voltage is applied to this point, and the voltage now in this case at this node is twice the value of VDD because this voltage also appear here. So therefore this voltage and this extra voltage appear here. So this will be able to drive the large voltages. So the transistor driven into very strong condition. So therefore the transistor turns on very fastly with a very less resistance between the drain and source region. So therefore the Vout will be dropped, goes to so wave goes to directly to the value of VDD without any delay. So therefore, like this, this is like this, so inverting to super buffer will work. Okay, so therefore there is no asymmetric will exist in the circuit, right? Next, go for the inverting type of NMOS super buffers. Okay, so this is the inverting type of super buffer. Okay, this is the inverting type of super buffer here. Now just observe this case. So we're not going to change the circuit. Only small changes, little changes in this case. In the previous case, what happened? The gate of the transistor T2 is directly given to the gate of the transistor T4. But now here, we are going to interchange the gate of this transistor and gate of these transistors. Okay, gate of the transistor T3 and T4 will be interchanges now. So that means that gate of the transistor T3 is connected to the gate of the transistor T2, and the gate of the transistor T4 is connected to the gate of the transistor T1. There is the small difference. Okay, the only small difference is exists in the non-inverting type of NMOS super buffer. Okay, now how the circuit operate now in this case? The same structure, same method you can analyze here. Now see, this is the non-inverting. That means when you apply 0 here, you get 0. When you apply 1 here, you get 1, logic 1. Okay, that means 0 means 0. 1 means VDD means you will get approximately VDD voltage. Okay. So now what happened now in this case? When the input is high, once again you can start from input is high. When the input is high, this T2 is on. At the same time, T3 is also on condition. T3 is also in on condition. Remember, high state. Whatever the voltage you apply here, that voltage also the extra voltage coming here, so it becomes twice the value. So output voltage suddenly rises to the value of VDD. Okay, so therefore we'll get exactly high voltage without any delay in the circuit. Similarly, okay, so what happened now? This is on condition, already it's on condition. When this transistor is on, the voltage at this node will be dropped to 0 level. So 0 voltage is applied to the transistor T4. Okay, so this transistor is off. So output is suddenly rises to the value of VDD because the transistor T3 is fully on condition. The voltage at the gate is not VDD now, it is more than VDD. Okay, so the transistor T3 is fully turns on. So it is suddenly rises to the value of VDD, providing very low resistance. So that means the capacitor suddenly charges to the value of VDD here. That means you will get exactly very sharp VDD level. So similarly, so that is the case. Now when the input voltage is 0 is applied here, when the input voltage 0 is applied at the input of this transistor T2, so what happened? The transistor T2 is off condition, and the same input signal will be given to the gate of the transistor T2, T3. So this transistor is also in the off condition, right? This transistor is off and is also in the off condition. So therefore, so what happened? When this is off condition, so whatever the voltage at this point rises to the value of VDD. So therefore, so this is applied to the voltage at the gate of this transistor is also turns on. So that means what happened now? Just output will drop to 0. When the input is 0, the output is again you get 0. So sharp, that means without any asymmetric, basically you will get at this point. Okay. So therefore, you will get the operation, there is a non-inverting operation of this super buffers. Okay, non-inverting NMOS super buffer. This is the operation of a non-inverting super. And remember the structure here is a very important structure. There are two types of super buffers here. One is inverting, another is non-inverting, right? So that is the today's class. So there is a different type of that means we are having different NMOS arrangement. Other NMOS arrangement also possible here. There is a based on the native transistors and also known as the native super buffers. And also we are having basically it is not recommended. In some cases is not available nowadays. So previously it is available, not available. So therefore we are having native that is also possible super buffers. Okay, and remember another very important thing is because of the non-inverting super buffers as shown in the row figure. Okay, this is particularly this circuit particularly realized by using the farm accumulator technology which are able to, because of this structure, they are able to, that means this type of super buffer is able to drive the capacitive loads of 2 picofarad with a very small delay. That means it's very small, there is 5 nanosecond rise time. It's very small rise time in this case. So it is able to drive 2 picofarads, okay, with a 5 nanoseconds rise time. Okay, so that's why this is the arrangement we are using in the NMOS structures. Okay, so in the next class we can go for the BiCMOS drivers. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to stop now.